All right, it is our first day of coverage here at the 2015 NFL Draft Combine. We are in Indianapolis, Indiana. Of course, I'm Dan Labbe. He's Tom Reed. And Tom, a lot of interesting things are going to happen over the next few days. And the first is we get to hear from Mike Pettine for the first time since all the TechSkate allegations came out, and Ray Farmer has been mentioned. We'll hear from him tomorrow. But what are you expecting to hear from Mike Pettine today?
I think Mike will be unflappable. I would be very surprised if he gave us any great fodder as far as, what he, if he felt wrong by it. Obviously, it may have ended up costing him a very good offensive coordinator in Kyle Shanahan, although we don't know if that was obviously there were 32-point reasons, and that may have just been one of them. But it'll be, there's so much to cover with Mike. The one thing about Mike I would say is that, again, this is why I don't think we'll see anything inflammatory. I think Mike has really kind of emerged as the guy that, to me, has the most credibility right now in this organization. And I think a lot of people feel like he's done a pretty good job. What's happened has not been a reflection on him. So I'd be very surprised if he came out flame-throwing today.
Yeah, and Mike's a guy that comes from the Jets organization, some other organizations that aren't exactly, quiet, keep things in line organizations. So he's kind of used to the circus atmosphere a little bit.
Yeah, sure. I dealt with Tim Tebow, Hard Knocks, all that stuff, Rex Ryan. So, yeah, this isn't new to him. And let's face it, if he survived the summer of Johnny last year, I thought he did a nice job with all that. So when we were talking with Jimmy Haslam the other day, when all this stuff was going down, one of the things that Haslam said that I thought was interesting, and it sounded pretty true, is that it just doesn't bother Mike. This is stuff that is beyond his control, and he's not going to worry about it. I think Mike's in pretty solid footing, at least for this year. Obviously, tomorrow is going to be much more interesting with Ray Farmer, not just with us, but with the national media. This is a national story. It's one of two or three kind of things going on around the league with Deflategate and some other things. So it'll be a big day tomorrow.
Now, offensive linemen today, kickers, tight ends, all of those position groups really of interest to the Browns. I talked to one guy, Jameel Douglas. He said he's met with the Browns today, met with them at the Senior Bowl. I'm sure a lot of other offensive linemen are going to be able to say the same things. A lot of people talking quarterbacks, but today's kind of an interesting day for Browns fans.
Yeah, that offensive line, especially the tackle position, could be one where they may use it at the number 18 and 19 pick. Who knows where they're going to go there. But, yes, that's a position that you could definitely see the Browns making a move on among their first three picks in the draft, assuming they, don't make a trade. It's one of those positions that, though they're still going to have Joe Thomas for another 3 or 4 years, you're starting to think now if you're drafting a right tackle, can he eventually be your left tackle and slide him over eventually if the guy's that quality to do it. Some of these guys are just specifically right tackles, but a lot of them can swing. Tight end is not a position that's very deep in this draft, but it's a position of big need, of very importance for the Browns. There's 3 or 4. Max Williams from Minnesota is one. The kid from the University of Miami is another really good one. Kind of keep your eye on. Although that's a position that may be addressed also in free agency, which is pretty good for the tight ends.
All right. Well, I do have to ask you about quarterbacks. It's my goal in every one of these videos to ask at least one quarterback question. Right now, what's kind of your sense with how this team is thinking as far as quarterbacks are concerned?
I don't know what their sense is. I can only give you my opinion. I don't get a sense. Maybe that's kind of why we're here in some ways, to get a better feeling. I know Mary Kay has reported that the Browns are thinking of possibly maybe trying to move up to package those picks, maybe go after Marcus Mariota. I wrote yesterday that I think that would be a mistake. I don't think not that I dislike the player, or if the Browns were sitting at 4 or 5, maybe you'd go ahead and make that move. I just don't think you mortgage your future and package those 2 picks to get a guy who's a system quarterback, who is kind of in some ways like Johnny Manziel on the field, and that he's played in a system that I don't know translates to the NFL game.
All right, one last question, because I'm sitting over by where the GMs and the coaches talk, and a lot of them have said the theme so far, they kind of know about these guys already. And what they're learning at the Combine is, maybe some of the measurables they know, they're confirming those, getting some that maybe they didn't. From a fan perspective, what can people learn at the NFL Combine as they follow coverage?
Well, I think it's just, kind of hearing what their GM and coach has to say in the couple minutes they're up on the podium. Again, there's going to be interest, especially with Ray Farmer tomorrow, But then just kind of watching, as the coverage starts to evolve with the players on the field. I don't watch as much as the 40-yard dash stuff, and that is when they're actually out there working with a position coach, the wide receivers, catching passes, running the right patterns, that kind of stuff. I think that's going to be interesting, and I think it'll be great if as it sounds like, that both Winston and Mariota throw. I think that's going to be on Saturday. That's certainly going to be fun to watch.
What's your 40 time?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe we'll figure it out at the end. That'll be the last video.
I had somebody ask me what my 40 time was and what my Wonderlic score was. I said 10 for both. Sounds about right. All right, we'll have midday updates today, of course. This one, tomorrow, and Friday we'll have end-of-day updates as well with Mary Kay Cabot. Until the next one, I'm Dan Labbe. He's Tom Reed. Thanks for watching.